Alright, so it's June, it's hot, and the restrictions just lifted to where we can go into stores and we can game chase now. Where I live in Japan, we haven't had any new pandemic cases in over a month now, so it's a little more, it's a little less threatening out here. So we're able to go game chasing. And I do have my mask just for extra protective measures, and I do have a game chasing buddy with me. What are you gonna start doing?
Game chasing.
Yeah? Are you gonna be a game collector?
Yeah!
And you wanna find your first game today?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well let's see what we find. Okay, well, you got it. Let's go find some games. First store is Hard Off. First thing I notice is the shelves are looking pretty empty. You got lots of this controller. I was hoping that months of absence would help me find a lot of stuff, but it's not looking good so far. Well, here's some new stuff and it's cheap, and since I'm getting ready to move, I'll pick a couple of these consoles up for trade. Looking through the N64 games for my son's first game. What do you think about that game?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm definitely doing that.
And he gets Diddy Kong Racing for his first game. Here we go to our next store, Book Off. Do you hope we find some good games in here? This is the store where we found those $1 controllers, but we're not having that kind of luck today. Alright, here we are at our next store, Mangasuko. We find a couple things in the store, but not much. Here I find Bonks 2 on Super Famicom for about $6, and that'll be good trade bait as well. Over here I find a version 3.0 system card, which was a really good deal, and I end up picking that up. And over here in this case I end up finding a Pikachu Controller for 15 bucks, which is a really good deal. And I eventually want 4 of these controllers. Here at the next Mangasuko I find a Sonic Wings 2 for Neo Geo Cd. I have the third but not the second. Here we have a complete in box Dreamcast and a Pikachu console and controller, which I came back to the store the next day and this was actually gone. Here we have a 32X and a lot of the consoles we've seen in previous videos, which I eventually plan to come back for. Over here's a pretty cool Super Game Boy 2. One bad habit I have is picking up games, looking at them, and putting them down while I debate if I want them. In this particular case, I put these games down. I wanted to come back for some of them, and when I came back around the corner, some guy had a whole stack in his hand that he was buying. So I won't be doing that anymore. Over here I end up finding some complete in box Famicom games that I pick up. Fighting Golf, and this game which I already have, but it's a box upgrade for sure, so I'm gonna pick this up. One game I pass up a lot of times since being in Japan is Legend of Zelda, and I'm not doing it today because I'm getting ready to leave and I haven't seen one in a long time. And I pick up Over Horizon 2, which is a rare shmup. You want to find more games?
Mm-hmm.
What store number is this?
6.
6? Mangasuko. So here we are at our 6th store and our 3rd Mangasuko. Here's some complete in box N64 games. Coming down here, there is a Neo Geo AES with the stack of AES games. Magician Lord in the front, that's pretty cool. And a Super Graphics. Wow, you never see these out in the wild, ever. And there's a Die Hoxin 64 as well. And down here is an LCD screen for the PS1. This store has a lot of cool stuff. And here's another complete in box Legend of Zelda, but this one's more expensive. Here's some Dreamcast twin sticks, which are pretty cool. $30. And here's some boxed N64 games. Over here I find a PC Engine Duo that I pick up because it has a good looking case. And a US Sega Saturn, which is really cool to see. Finally, I find a really cheap deal on some Neo Geo controllers. I can't pass these up. Here at the next store, I find a Contra for 10 bucks. And here's a Sharp Twin Famicom for 88 bucks, but it's in really rough shape. Alright, so let's check out the pickups. First up is Rockman, and I'm starting to collect duplicates because I want to be able to go back to wherever I'm moving next and be able to trade with another collector. And I recently found out about this game as I've been looking for it for the NES Complete in Box Quest. I realized that this is actually Chubby Cherub, so I thought it'd be pretty cool to pick this up, and this was less than 5 bucks over here, so pretty cool. Next up we have a really rare shmup, Over Horizon. I've seen this sitting down there at the store for months, and I finally decided to pick it up. I used to have the PAL version, but it plays differently on the NES. So I picked up the Famicom version because it's more easy to play. Moving on to Complete in Box Famicom, I got Fighting Golf, and I got this mainly because it's just in pristine condition. And I got a copy of Joy Mech Fight, and I already had this in the box, but this was Complete in Box and a box upgrade. So I'm pretty happy about this pickup. Next up, I found a Complete in Box copy of The Legend of Zelda. And I've wanted to own this game for a really long time. I used to see it a lot when I first moved to Japan, but I haven't seen it in a long time, and I saw it out at the store, and I decided to pick this up finally. Moving on to Neo Geo, I got a copy of Sonic Wings 2. I have Sonic Wings 3 already, so I'm really happy to add this one to the collection. Moving on to some controllers, I found a Neo Geo AES controller for about 30 bucks. That's a really good deal. These go for about $100. Then I found this box Neo Geo controller for $25. And that's another cool find. This box is in really good condition. I actually have a couple of these boxed already, but this is the best condition box I've seen. And at 25 bucks, why wouldn't you pick it up? And finally, I found another controller of the same type, only it was loose, and this one was only 20. Still at 20 bucks, that's a steal for a Neo Geo controller, so the more the better when I can find them for this cheap. Moving on to more controllers, I found this Nintendo GameCube controller. I was actually trying to work a trade for one of these controllers, the same color, but then I found this one out in the wild. It needs a little bit of help, but I think I can get this controller working and looking really nice. I also found this Pikachu N64 controller for 15 bucks, and that's a really good deal. If you watch my top 5 best looking retro consoles video, you saw I had the Die Hox with all 4 matching controller colors, and I think it would be cool to do the same thing with the Pikachu console. Next up, I found a couple loose consoles. The first one is a US Sega Saturn, and I haven't ever owned a US Sega Saturn. Didn't come with any cables or controllers, but I have Japanese ones that I'll be able to test this out with, and I'll buy a couple games to test it out with as well. For 50 bucks, hopefully it works. But if it does work, that's a pretty good deal for a US Sega Saturn. Next up, I found a PC Engine Duo R console. Now I have this console complete in box already, but when I saw this one sitting there, the shell looked really good, and I think my complete in box one has a couple scuffs. So I picked it up, and I think it'll work. Being $80, I don't think this will be a junk console at all. I think this will work anyway. So pretty happy to find that. And finally, I got some complete in box consoles. One is a Famicom, and I already have a Famicom complete in box. But again, I'm hoping when I get to wherever I'm going next, I'll find another collector, and it'll be really cool to have some extra Japanese stuff to trade. And the same thing goes with this Super Famicom console. I already have one, but I picked it up because it was cheap, and it's something I can trade later on down the road. Alright, up next we have some local buys and trades that I made. I didn't get this on video, but I found and picked up some really cool stuff locally, a lot of it from friends. So let's check those out. First up, I found this boxed Panasonic 3DO. I used to have one of these. I've seen them around a few times, but now that I'm getting ready to leave Japan, I wanted to make sure I left with one. I also picked up this Casio Loopy. This was a console made for little girls and stuff, and it would print stuff like little stickers out and everything, and I thought it was pretty cool, and it was a really good deal, so I think I paid 40 bucks for this from my buddy. One thing I'm really big into out here in Japan is all the cool cases that came out here, and I've never seen this GameCube case around, and I use this in a really big trade. This case holds a GameCube console. As you can see there, it holds games, the AC adapter, controller, all that stuff. So I thought that case was really cool and really awesome to pick it up in a trade. I also picked up two loose US Super Nintendo games. One is Super Mario World, the other is Battletoads Double Dragon. And finally, the best part of the trade was this Panasonic Q in the box. Now this used to be mine a while ago, and I ended up selling it to my friend, and he had it in his collection for a while, and I was just done collecting GameCube, so this is one of the things I sold, and I've regretted it ever since. So it was not easy to get this back, but man, I'm really happy to have this back in the collection. And like I said, it was part of a huge trade. I had a huge Japanese arcade candy cab that I ended up using in a trade to get this back. So I'm really excited to have this back in the collection. This is actually a fully functional unit. Everything works, the DVD works, GameCube player works. This console's in excellent condition. There isn't any scratches on it or anything. And these are pretty pricey, so I'm really excited that we were able to work this into our trade. This is what made the trade worth it. Well, that's it for Okinawa retro game chasing and local pickups. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe, and I'll be bringing you more videos like this. Also, make sure to leave a thumbs up for the Panasonic Q. Until next time, I'm Wayne, and thanks for watching.